welcome to a new facts video. In this video we will look at top 50 best animal facts. I think you've never heard of 45 of these 50 facts. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel to support the channel and reach 1,000 subscribers before moving on to the video. In addition, the basic concept of the channel is the same in all videos. 1. Wondering. 2. Learning. I try to present both of these in a fun way. Without further ado, let's get to the top 50 animal facts. 50. Otters hold hands while they sleep so as not to drift away from each other. Also, the sable he is holding hands with should be a sable he knows and trusts. Otters always swim on their backs while they eat. These marine mammals eat animals such as mussels, sea urchins, oysters, and snails while swimming on their backs. Their extremely dense fur protects them from cold waters while they eat. 49. Hummingbirds are the only known birds that can also fly backwards. They usually do this while walking away from the flowers. A hummingbird's wings can flap up to 200 times per second to stay suspended. The hummingbird moves its wings 180 degrees in all directions, allowing it to fly backwards, upside down, sideways, change direction mid-flight, and even hang in place. It's the only bird in the world that can do that. 48. Koalas can sleep up to 22 hours a day. Koalas need sleep more than most animals because their diet, which consists of eucalyptus leaves, contains toxins, is very low in nutrients, and is high in fiber. Therefore, they take a large amount of energy to digest. 47. The giant Pacific octopus has 3 hearts, 9 brains, and blue blood. They can also change their color and texture to camouflage themselves in the blink of an eye. Octopuses have 9 brains because each of their 8 tentacles has its own mini-brain which allows it to function independently of each other. 46. Polar bears have jet black skin under their white fur coats. Unlike other bears, their fur is transparent and reflects visible light. This allows polar bears living in the Arctic tundra to adapt to their snow-covered environments. Their white fur helps provide camouflage in the snowy and icy environment they live in, while their black skin helps them absorb heat to stay warm. 45. Fingerprints of koalas are almost identical to those of humans. Fingerprints of koalas and humans are so difficult to distinguish, even under a microscope. There's even a case of koala fingerprinting at crime scenes that has baffled forensics. 44. Tardigrades can survive in space for more than 10 years without food. Tardigrades are microscopic animals with insane endurance abilities. They can survive temperatures as high as 149 degrees Celsius or as low as -272 degrees Celsius and pressures 6 times more intense than at the bottom of the ocean. They also look like tiny bears. 43. Gorillas have been seen breaking traps set by poachers. Poaching is a big problem for gorillas, but young gorillas have learned how to catch and smash traps. 42. The shrike sticks their prey into sticks to hide it for later, also known as butchered birds. They are famous for being quite ferocious songbirds. They catch all kinds of animals, including crickets, lizards, and small birds, and stick them into sticks for later storage. 41. The tree frog spends 7 months of the year frozen. These Alaska frogs freeze almost completely at the beginning of winter, and 2/3 of their body water turns into ice. They seem dead to all intents and purposes. Heartbeat stops and blood flow stops. However, once winter begins to thaw, they also thaw and come back to life. 40. Flamingos are not actually pink. They are born gray. Their diet of brine shrimp and blue-green algae contains a natural pink dye called canthoxanthin, which makes their coats pink. Thanks to this dye, flamingos turn pink over time. Flamingos in zoos would often lose their coloration until zookeepers supplemented their diet. 39. The world's deadliest animal is not a shark, bear, or tiger, but a much smaller creature, the mosquito. According to the World Health Organization, 725,000 people die each year from mosquito-borne diseases such as malaria, dengue, and yellow fever. The mosquito outnumbers any other animal in the world except ants and termites. They can also be found almost anywhere in the world, increasing the risk they pose to humans. 38. If you wake up in the morning to the sound of a rooster, you know how repulsive the rooster can be. It's as if he sings to the very end of his voice. Have you ever wondered how this animal is not deaf? When the rooster crows, they tilt their head back, which completely covers the ear canal and acts as a built-in earplug, preventing them from becoming deaf from their own loud crow. Also, one study showed that crowing averages over 100 decibels, which is roughly the same as running a chainsaw. 37. A cockroach can live for weeks even after its head is cut off. Even weirder, a cockroach's head can also live on its own for several hours. Cockroaches are ancient creatures that have existed since dinosaur times. A cockroach can live without a head for 1 to 2 weeks. When a cockroach loses its head, its neck usually coagulates shut so it does not bleed. This is because cockroaches have an open circulatory system with no blood-carrying vessels. 36. Baby elephants suck their trunks for comfort. Just like babies and toddlers suck their thumbs. Just like human newborns, elephant calves are born with a strong sucking reflex. This helps them instinctively know what to do when they approach their mother's breast. 35. Axolotl can regenerate lost limbs and body organs. The Mexican walking fish can enlarge the same limbs up to 5 times and even regenerate parts of its brain. 34. Male seahorses go through pregnancy and give birth to offspring. They are the only animals in the world where the male instead of the female carries the baby. The male seahorse has a pouch in its belly to carry as many as 2,000 babies at a time. 33. Pufferfish may contain tetrodotoxin, a toxin that is 1,200 times more deadly to humans than cyanide. One pufferfish has enough toxins to kill 30 adult humans and has no known antidote. Surprisingly though, some pufferfish meat is considered a delicacy in Japan. Meat, called fugu, is expensive and is prepared by licensed chefs with more than 3 years of rigorous training, who only remove the toxic parts of the meat for dinner. It is also said that its meat is incredibly delicious. 32. Ostrich legs are so strong that their kicks can kill a lion or a human. Both toad feet have long, sharp claws, making them formidable weapons. Animals often run away from the ostrich. Also, the ostrich's eyes are larger than its brain. 31. A tiger's hind legs are so strong that it has been seen to survive even after death. It was witnessed that tigers were shot, bled and died, and survived all this time. 30. The Japanese spider crab has the longest leg span of any arthropod. It can be as long as almost 4 meters from one claw to the other. Japanese spider crabs have 10 legs that extend from a central body, giving them a spider-like appearance. They live in the depths of the ocean south of Japan. 29. Some albatrosses are lesbians. Albatrosses form lifelong bonds, returning to the same place each year to raise their young. Some of these bonds are between 2 female albatrosses, and one study found that 31% of couples in a breeding area had 2 females. 28. Sheep can recognize faces. As social animals, sheep can recognize familiar and unfamiliar faces. In fact, studies show that they miss other sheep when they are taken away for a long time afterwards. Goats and sheep also have rectangular pupils. This allows them to take advantage of a wide field of view, useful for spotting predators. 27. The Mariana snailfish is the deepest fish in the ocean and lives about 8 meters below the surface. They live in the deepest trenches of the ocean, where they prey on invertebrates such as crustaceans and shrimp. 26. Vampire bats share their blood with their friends. Vampire bats must eat blood at least every 48 hours to survive. After a good meal, bats share blood with another bat who fed them in the past. 25. The U.S. military trained bottlenose dolphins. Bottlenose dolphins have been used in both Vietnam and the Gulf to detect enemy swimmers attempting to plant explosives on ships. The U.S. Navy worked with bottlenose dolphins and California sea lions from the 1960s to aid mine detection and design new submarines and underwater weapons. They tested a large number of underwater animals, including some sharks and birds, to find the best fit for the job. Also, dolphins have names for each other. You already know that dolphins are smart. But did you know they even have their own names? A 2013 study published in PNAS found that bottlenose dolphins develop specific whistles for each other. 24. The cuckoo hides its eggs in the nests of other species. The other bird species then raises the cuckoo as its own, and the cuckoo mother does not have to do any work. 23. Meerkat parents train their young to hunt scorpions. They will bring dead or dying scorpions back to younger ones so they can practice killing without stinging them. 22. Bees have 5 eyes. In front are 2 small eyes like a fly and 3 small eyes like a spider. The 3 ocelli eyes on the top of its head detect light, so the bee can sense if it is approached by a predator. 21. There are an estimated 8.7 million species on Earth, of which more than 80% are undiscovered. Based on available data, complex statistics, and models, we can estimate how many species there are on Earth and tell us how many more could be found. It will probably take another 500 years to find them all. 20. Dragonflies can see all directions at once, where the human eye can see at around 60 frames per second. The dragonfly's versatile eyes gather even more information as time goes on. Dragonfly vision is thought to be like slow motion for humans. Dragonflies see faster than we do. They see about 200 images per second. The dragonfly can see 360 degrees of its surroundings, and about 80% of the insect's brain is dedicated to vision. 19. You can tell the age of a whale by looking at the candle plug in its ear. Like tree rings, whale earwax builds up in layers, adding a new layer about every 6 months. A scientist can estimate the age of a whale by slicing the wax. 18. Gorilla nose prints are as unique as human fingerprints. Studying gorillas one by one can be difficult if you don't know what you're looking for. People have unique fingerprints. Similarly, no gorilla's nose print is the same. Researchers studying wild gorillas use photographs of nose prints to identify individuals. 17. Starfish have no brain and no blood. And they're not even fish. Starfish don't actually have a brain or even blood. In fact, they use filtered seawater to pump nutrients into their nervous systems. They're also much heavier than you think. They may look small, but in fact, starfish can weigh up to an impressive 11 pounds. 16. Rats laugh when tickled. Rats are just like us. Often vilified rodents love to play and be tickled, and have even been known to make high-pitched laughter-like sounds. 15. Vampire bats have such sharp teeth that you may not feel them bite you. As a result, the way the vampire bat's teeth are formed is one of the most noticeable differences in its appearance compared to other bats. Their front teeth are extremely sharp and can pierce their victims to gain access. They also have shorter and duller posterior teeth than most bat species. 14. The hippo's closest living relatives are whales, dolphins, and porpoises. Hippos and whales may look different in many ways, but they are actually each other's closest living relatives, sharing a common ancestor that lived about 55 million years ago. They also share traits that are peculiar to most mammals, including smooth, almost hairless skin devoid of glands that produce an oily substance called sebum that lubricates the skin and hair of most land mammals. Current scientific thinking is that these aquatic skin features were already present in the amphibian common ancestors of hippos and marine mammals, the group that includes whales, dolphins, and dolphins. But intense debate continues about how and when the ancestors of marine mammals return completely to water. 13. Both male and female pigeons produce milk for their young. Each produces crop milk, a substance used to feed their chicks. This is a rare skill among birds. 12. Only female mosquitoes bite. You ask why? Because they need blood. Not to eat, but to produce eggs. In fact, a male or female mosquito can live quite well without biting, simply by licking sugary substances like the nectar of flowers. But a female will not lay eggs unless she manages to find a vertebrate to suck blood, or in some species only a few. This is because a nectar diet, although very energetic, does not provide enough proteins or other substances necessary for egg formation, oogenesis. And this has been proven experimentally. If a female mosquito is injected with a good combination of amino acids, she will produce eggs without having to suck blood. 11. Chicken may be the closest relative to the T-Rex. Scientists compared the DNA of the 68-million-year-old Tyrannosaurus rex with several modern-day animal species and concluded that chickens were the closest match. 10. Emus cannot walk backwards. Emus can only walk forward, not backward. Due to the presence of a calf muscle that other birds do not have, they can run forward for a long distance. 9. Giraffes have purple tongues. Scientists believe this is to avoid sunburn while eating. 8. Squirrels take care of orphans. It turns out that squirrels have an intense maternal instinct. A 2010 study by researchers at the University of Guelph found that animals would receive orphans of deceased family members. Social animals, including lions and chimpanzees, are often surrounded by relatives, so it's not surprising for a female to adopt an orphan family member because they've already spent so much time together, said lead researcher Andrew McAdam, an evolutionary biologist. But red squirrels live in complete isolation and are very territorial. The only time they allow another squirrel into their territory is one day a year when females are ready to mate or nurse their young. According to a 2015 study published in PLOS One, horses can make 17 facial movements, 3 more than chimpanzees and only 10 fewer than humans. 6. Cows produce more milk when listening to slow music. Researchers at the University of Leicester School of Psychology found that cows produce 1.54 liters more per day when slow music is played rather than more upbeat tunes. 5. Ants never sleep. Also, they don't have lungs. Because of their small size, ants do not have the space to house a complex respiratory system like ours. Instead, they have their own airways to help transport oxygen throughout their bodies. So how do ants breathe? Ants breathe oxygen through spirals, which are a series of holes on the sides of their bodies. Spiracles are connected via a network of tubes that help distribute oxygen to almost every cell in their body. The movement of an ant helps the oxygen to circulate in the tubes, and the carbon dioxide that is released comes out of the tubes. 4. The camel protects its eyes from the desert sands with its 3 eyelids. On a windy day or in a sandstorm, when the sand moves, the third eyelid works like a windshield wiper and closes just in time to prevent sand from getting in without restricting vision. The third eyelid is thin enough so that camels can see where they are going. Normally, the eyelash closes and opens up and down, but in camels, the third eyelid opens and closes side by side. The bushy eyebrow shield protects the camel's eyes from sand, dust, and desert sun. 3. Giraffes do not have vocal cords. It actually does, but while giraffes do have a larynx or larynx, their small lung capacity and narrow trachea make it difficult to generate enough airflow to vibrate their vocal cords. So how do they communicate? Giraffes have excellent eyesight. so their primary means of communication is thought to be visual signals during daylight hours. It is also logical that as prey animals, they do not want to make loud noises that could attract the attention of predators. Apart from that, they make a buzzing sound at night. Scientists have discovered that giraffes can communicate with each other by humming at incredibly low frequencies. And for the relatively quiet creatures, a sound was defined for the first time. Although they make very little noise, they are a powerful communication tool for social animals. 2. Penguins proposing with a pebble. Gentoo penguins are probably the most romantic penguins in the entire animal kingdom. When they're ready to mate, they search the entire beach for the softest pebble to give their mate. So why not a stone, for example, a fish? While scientific knowledge of this phenomenon isn't much, recent research on penguin behavior has concluded that due to the conditions of their habitat, the small rocks they collect are meant to cover the ground where they build their nests. These stones keep the eggs above the water's surface when their colonies are invaded by rapidly melting snow. According to research by LaCapria, males are usually responsible for collecting rocks from the rocks in their habitat or from other nests in the colony. When they return to the female's side, they carry the stones they have collected to the feet of their mates, protecting the nest and eggs as a natural act of courtship and a sign that their journey has come to an end. Observing this habit highlights the time a penguin spends collecting the stone that brings him closer to his mate's feet, as they are intensely devoted to finding the ideal stone within all the possibilities of its habitat. 1. A cat can use its whiskers to check if it will fit in a space. They can measure if it's too small to fit. You can think of cat whiskers as radar systems. While cats have a great sense of smell, their eyesight is not very good, especially when looking at nearby objects. Whiskers constantly send signals to the brain and help your cat see objects. When your cat approaches an object, such as quickly. We have come to the end of the top 50 best animal facts videos. You can write in the comments which facts were your favorite or the most surprising. I also try to respond to every comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.